If you think a normal life in 2026 belongs to the people making the most money, I need you to pause. Because right now, the people quietly living the calmest, most normal lives are not always the ones with the biggest salaries. Sometimes, it's the ones with the smallest monthly surprises. You can see it in the dumbest places. The grocery checkout where the total is $214 and you didn't even buy anything fun. The auto shop text that says front brakes, $890. The dentist estimate that somehow turns into a payment plan. And the little push notification from your bank that's not dramatic, just insulting. Here's the part that messes with your head. You might be earning $110,000 or $140,000, and you still do that thing where you wait to hit submit on a bill until after payday. Not because you're irresponsible, because you're trying to keep the account from doing that dip where it feels like the floor drops out. And if you're a two-income household, it can feel even weirder. On paper, you're crushing it. In reality, you're paying $1,900 a month for daycare, $620 for car insurance that used to be $280, and your rent jumped again because the building got a new logo in the lobby. That's not luxury, that's just the entry fee. So who actually gets to afford normal in 2026? I'm Ben, and I spend way too much time thinking about the psychology of money. Specifically, why people with good jobs still feel like they're one weird Tuesday away from chaos. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 3 forces that decide whether your life feels stable or constantly on the verge. The first one is the obvious math everyone argues about. The second one is the hidden monthly tax you don't notice until you're already paying it. And the third one is the trap, because it makes smart, hard-working people feel broke while they're technically doing everything right. Keep this in mind. Affording normal isn't about one big purchase. It's about whether you can absorb 2 boring problems in the same week without using debt. Because that's the real test now. Not the vacation, not the new phone, the water heater plus the tires, the copay plus the car registration, the birthday party gift plus the prescription that isn't covered this month for reasons. So what happens when normal is basically a subscription to surprise bills? Let's start with the first force, because once you see it, you'll stop blaming yourself for a problem that isn't actually about willpower. You know that moment when you open your calendar and it's just dentist, oil change, friend's wedding, parent-teacher night, normal stuff, and your brain immediately does the math like it's diffusing a bomb, because the normal version of that month isn't cute anymore. It's a $1,150 car repair because the check engine light was probably nothing until it wasn't, plus $380 for a kid's sports registration you forgot was due, plus the $240 increase on your renewal notice for home insurance that you didn't even shop around for because you were busy being a functioning adult. Then there's the housing side of normal. Not buying a mansion, just trying to stay put. Your landlord offers a simple lease renewal, rent goes up $175, parking is now $60, and the community utilities fee appears out of no thin air at $45. You don't throw a fit, you just do the quiet thing. You cancel the gym, you stop replacing your shoes, you tell yourself you'll cook more, and somehow you're still behind. And the weirdest one? The medical normal. You go in for something routine. You pay the copay, you leave. Then 47 days later, an envelope shows up with a number that doesn't feel real, $612, because some part of the visit was out of network even though you never left the building. That's not a health crisis. That's Tuesday. So when people say just live within your means, it sounds responsible until you realize the means are getting ambushed. The problem isn't that you're buying boats. The problem is that normal life now has more toll booths. Here's the first insight that actually matters. Stability in 2026 isn't income, it's insulation. It's whether your life has padding between you and a random $900 problem. And that's why the person who looks rich can feel broke, and the person you'd never guess has it together is sleeping fine. The calmest households aren't always the highest earners. They're the ones with the fewest required payments and the most boring flexibility. I call this the payment stack. Not your spending, your locked-in obligations. The stuff that drafts whether you had a good month or not. Once your payment stack gets tall enough, your money stops feeling like money. It turns into a scheduling tool. You're not asking, can we afford it? You're asking, which week can we survive it? If that hit a little too hard, subscribe, because in the next part, I'm going to show you the first force, the obvious math everyone argues about, and why it's not just prices went up. It's the way one or two fixed bills can quietly decide whether your entire life feels normal or constantly one notification away from panic. The math is brutal, but it's also sneaky, because the obvious part isn't that everything costs more, it's that one or two fixed bills can quietly hijack your entire month. Take a normal 2026 paycheck rhythm. You get paid, you feel fine for about 36 hours, and then the auto drafts start marching through like a little charade you didn't RSVP to. Phone, $118, electric, $206, student loan, $335. Then the big one hits, housing. If your rent is $2,650 and it's due on the 1st, that's not a bill, that's a monthly cliff. Even if your take-home is $6,800, that one payment is 39% of your usable money, gone in a single click. Let that sink in. And here's the part people miss. It's not the percentage that breaks you, it's the timing. When a huge bill is concentrated into one date, it forces you to keep extra cash parked in your checking account like a guard dog, so you stop using your money to build anything. You use it to stand there and brace. Now add the second fixed bill that decides your personality, the car. Not the fun part, just the part that gets you to work. Say your payment is $540 and insurance is $410 because your area got re-rated and you didn't have time to shop it. That's $950 a month just to keep a vehicle legal. That's not lifestyle, that's commute permission. This is why two households can have the same income and totally different lives. One has a low payment stack, maybe an older paid-off car and a stable rent situation, and their money behaves like money. The other has a high payment stack and their money behaves like a bouncer. You can't come in, you're not on the list. The ripple effects get weirdly specific. You start avoiding plans that land near the 1st of the month. You say maybe next week to a dinner that's $48, not because $48 ruins you, but because it's sitting next to rent week. You keep groceries boring and predictable because you can't handle a surprise total. And you start using credit cards not for luxury, just for smoothing. That's the real shift. Keep this number in mind. If your fixed bills eat 70% of your take-home, you're not budgeting anymore, you're triaging. And the most unfair part? High earners can be the most fragile here because lenders and landlords don't care if you feel stretched. They care if you qualify, so you get approved for the bigger rent, the nicer car, the better neighborhood, and then you spend the next 3 years paying for the approval. That's force number 1. Income matters, but the shape of your bills matters more. And next comes the one that feels invisible until it's already in your statements, the hidden monthly tax that turns normal into a treadmill. Force number 2 doesn't show up as one big bill. It shows up as 20 smaller ones that all feel reasonable until you realize they're permanent. Here's a number that should bother you. $999 isn't $10 anymore. It's a contract. Because in 2026, normal life runs on subscriptions you didn't emotionally register as subscriptions. Cloud storage so your phone stops yelling at you, $299. The app that unlocks your kids' homework portal features, $799. The security system discount that mysteriously requires monitoring, $34. The streaming bundle you keep because canceling means your partner notices, $28. And then the quiet killer, software you need for work, not fun, $18 a month. That's not a shopping problem, that's infrastructure. Add it up with adult basics that behave like subscriptions, roadside assistance, identity monitoring, the premium checking account that waives fees if you keep a balance you don't have, the pet wellness plan, the printer ink membership you swear you'll cancel after this one shipment. It's easy to land at $186 a month without a single luxury item. That's $2,232 a year. That's a weekend trip you didn't take every year. Forever. Let that land. And it gets sneakier because the hidden tax isn't just money, it's attention. Every one of those charges is a little decision you're supposed to remember. Cancel this trial, negotiate that renewal, reshop that policy, update that payment method, miss one email, and suddenly you're paying $24 more a month for the same thing, and you don't even notice until 3 statements later. That's not laziness, that's being busy. I call this the admin tax, the money you lose because your life requires constant maintenance and you don't have a staff. Not an assistant, not a bookkeeper, just you in a checkout line trying to remember if you already paid the school lunch balance. Now watch what it does to your behavior. You stop thinking in, can I afford this? And start thinking in, will this create another login, another portal, another renewal date, another thing that can fail at the worst time? That's why people with decent incomes still feel allergic to adding anything. It's not the $12, it's the mental clutter. Two households can both make the same salary, and one feels normal because their admin tax is low. Fewer accounts, fewer renewals, fewer gotcha fees. The other is constantly leaking $40 here, $65 there, because their calendar is already full. And the scariest part, this is the setup for force number 3, because once you're paying the admin tax, the next solution gets offered, and it's expensive. Keep that in mind. Force number 3 is where the story flips, because the people who can afford normal in 2026 aren't the ones with the highest income. They're the ones who can say no without their life breaking. Not no to a yacht, no to the expensive fixes for being busy. Here's what I mean. When your payment stack is tall and your admin tax is leaking everywhere, you start buying relief. You pay for speed. You pay for convenience. You pay to make problems stop touching your brain. Grocery delivery isn't about laziness. It's $14.99 plus a tip, because if you walk into the store after work, you'll overspend by $62 and forget the one thing you needed. Meal kits aren't about being fancy. It's $11 a serving because the alternative is takeout 3 times a week when you're fried. Same calories, different invoice. Then the fixes get heavier. You put the $1,240 car repair on a card at 24% because you can't miss work, and the shop offers financing like it's doing you a favor. That interest is now a monthly subscription you pay for one bad Tuesday. Sound familiar? And that's the trap. High earners are the best customers for relief. You're approved, you're targeted, you're qualified. So the system sells you a smoother life, one monthly charge at a time. I call this the convenience ladder. Every rung feels small, the total is not. Now, the transformation part, the moment you actually get your life back, happens when you stop trying to afford everything and start trying to buy down your payment stack. Not dramatically, practically. The first thing that changes is your weeks stop being hostage situations. The water bill hits the same day your kid needs new cleats, and you don't reach for a credit card like it's an inhaler. You just pay it. Then you move on with your day. Let that land. Second, you stop paying for panic speed. You can book the $129 dentist cleaning on a Tuesday morning instead of the Saturday emergency slot that somehow costs $289 because availability. You can wait 2 days for shipping instead of paying $24.95 to make your stress go away tonight. Third, you get picky about recurring charges, not in a cancel Netflix way, in a why do I have 3 apps billing me for the same storage way. You reclaim, say, $70 a month. That's not life-changing, but it's gap-creating, and gaps are where normal lives live. And the weirdest benefit? Your money starts acting like money again. You make plans without checking what date it is. You say yes to a friend's birthday dinner without doing mental gymnastics around rent week. That's not frivolous. That's stability showing up socially. Now, you might be thinking, cool. So the answer is just have less bills. Yeah, but the real question is how you do that without detonating your life. Because force number 3 doesn't just happen to you. It gets engineered into your defaults. The objection you're already forming is, okay, cool theory, but I can't just delete my rent. I can't just cancel daycare. What am I supposed to do? Manifest a lower payment stack? Fair. Most of your big bills are welded on, so the practical path isn't cut everything. It's create slack on purpose, starting with the bills that are optional but disguised as mandatory. That's the shift. You stop asking, what can I cut, and start asking, what can I unlock? That's the second force we covered, admin tax, paying extra because life is a maintenance job. Here's how you buy it back without turning your weekends into an accounting internship. First move, pick one billing day and make it your monthly leak check. Not a full budget, just open your bank app, sort by recurring, and circle anything under $30 that would annoy you if it doubled, because those are the ones that quietly double. If you find 4 charges, $12.99, $17.49, $8.99, and $24, that's $63.47 a month. Call it $60. That's not latte money. That's one grocery run you don't have to float. Second move, attack one approval bill. The bill you got because you qualified, not because you needed it. A storage unit, a 2 new car, a premium phone plan with free upgrades. Even a small downgrade matters. If you cut your phone plan from $142 to $92, that's $50 a month. Now you're at $110 a month between 2 moves. Here's why this works. $110 a month is $27.50 a week. That's one automatic transfer every payday, and you never have to feel heroic. In a year, that's $1,320. And $1,320 isn't wealth, it's insulation. It's brakes plus a tow. It's 2 copays and a prescription that isn't covered this month for reasons. It's the thing that keeps you from financing Tuesday. Now we make it real. Your first milestone isn't a perfect budget. It's a $1,000 buffer that lives in a boring savings account and never gets touched for birthdays or plane tickets. Once you have that, your nervous system calms down. Seriously, you stop hearing every email subject line as a threat. Then the next step gets easier. You pick one fixed bill to shrink. Reshop insurance. Refinance if it's actually worth it. Sell the second car if it mostly sits. Move one notch down the convenience ladder. That's how normal comes back. Not from earning more, from needing less of your next paycheck. So that's the whole game. A normal life in 2026 isn't reserved for the people with the biggest income. It belongs to the people with the fewest forced payments and the most slack when Tuesday shows up with a receipt. Those were the 3 forces. Here's the one shift that changes everything. Stop trying to win by earning more and start trying to win by needing less of your next paycheck. Most people think the hardest part is cutting spending. They're wrong. The hardest part is saying no to the stuff that was sold as responsible. The upgraded car because it's safer, the premium plan because it's easier, the extra coverage because you're an adult now, until your month becomes a row of auto drafts you're scared to look at. If you're sitting there thinking, okay, but I'm already maxed, don't panic. Start smaller than your pride wants. One leak check, one downgrade, one bill you unlock. Even $35 a week, $140 a month is $1,680 a year. That's not retirement money. That's the alternator dies and you don't have to finance your own life money. Let that land. And remember the question from the beginning. Who can afford normal? Not the flashiest, not the highest earners. The people who can afford normal are the ones who can get a surprise bill and keep their week. If this gave you a cleaner way to think about your money, subscribe.